Previously on Axe Chronicles, The Road to Tier 6, you witnessed beginning of my sentence, which entailed getting picked up by a pumper guild.
That's fucking wild.
Embarrassing myself in Lady Vash.
You have failed!
Oh, you threw it back to me.
Shit, my bad.
Just toss to Moon. Right. Axe, target the boomkin over here, bud. Target the boomkin. So the chicken?
Setting expectations for myself as to how to be ready to go into Black Temple, achieving those expectations, and being labeled a communist by Give It to Drunk for trying to slightly manipulate the market. He doesn't know he's right. It's today that I go a few years back in time to witness the battle for Mount Hyjal with my own eyes. But first, I need to kill Kael'thas Sunstrider in Tempest Keep so I can collect his Vile Remnant, which I can then turn into Soradormi at the Caverns of Time, something that I had failed to achieve last week. Why do I need the Vial from Kael'thas, you might ask? You might be wondering what he did to me. Let me give you a little background.
Kael'thas was the only son of Anastarian Sunstrider, the king of Quel'Thalas. He was a powerful mage and a member of the Six, the High Council of the Kirin Tor. He had a crush on Jaina Proudmoore, but she had a thing for Prince Arthas Menethil, and this kinda drew Kael'thas insane with jealousy. Arthas would go on to pick up the cursed sword Frostmourne, forever damning his soul. After Arthas betrayed his father and then ravaged Lordaeron, he and his undead scourge marched towards Quel'Thalas. Arthas convinced Darkhan Drathir to betray the High Elves and allow the Scourge passage into Quel'Thalas. Arthas and the Scourge carved a scar into Quel'Thalas through Silvermoon and froze the sea to the Isle of Quel'Danas to use the Sunwell to resurrect Kel'Thuzad. Along with this, they killed 90% of the High Elven population and also killed Anastarian, Kael'thas' father. Kael'thas, understandably, was outraged at the death of his father. Jaina tried to console him, but he lashed out at her for a relationship with Arthas, and abandoned abandoned Dalaran to handle his own affairs. After returning home and laying his father to rest, Kael'thas renamed his people to Blood Elves. He joined the Alliance resistance against the Scourge, but he didn't really trust them. Lady Vash, the Queen of the Naga, offered her help in defeating the undead, and he accepted it. The Alliance weren't too thrilled with him because the Naga were known for being, fucking evil. And so, Kael'thas went with Vash to Outland, where they would meet with her master, Illidan Stormrage. Illidan was currently being taken to prison in a magical cage, and the two rushed with their people to free him. Afterwards, Kael'thas pledged his loyalty to Illidan after he promised to provide the Blood Elves with fel energy to satiate their addiction.
And that's where I have a problem. You're fucking with the ops, you're fucking with me. Illidan betrayed the Kaldorei and caused a sundering which had many consequences for me and my people, so no, we don't like Kael'thas very much around here. We headed right back into the fucking eye, and then we killed Alar. We then killed Void Reaver. We skipped Solarian and headed straight to Kael'thas. The fight was interesting. First he sends one of his companions at a time to fight you into the death, each one requiring a certain strategy. You will first encounter Thaladred the Darkener, who will fixate on you and you will need to run away or you'll die. Then, you'll find yourself up against Lord Sanguinar, who drops a fear on your nearby comrades. It's important to have Tremor Totems down at this time. After that, you may find yourself on the receiving end of Grandmaster Master Capernian's conflagration spells, which would leave you on your ass if you don't stay more than 30 yards away. Assuming oneself to be smart enough to take these precautions, the DPS will melt her down in no time. Then you'll have to fight Thelonian, who drops his bombs requiring the melee to stack. In this next phase, you fight his weapons. He summons a wide variety of legendary weapons who first spawn in as enemy targets, and you must defeat them, and once you defeat them, you can loot them and use them for 15 minutes. Kael'thas isn't even ready yet to use his own hands at that point. He summons back all his dead friends, and you have to fight them all at once, juggling the tasks of avoiding range on Capernian, bombs on Thelonian, gaze on Thaladred, and the fear on Sanguinar. You overcome, and Kael'thas takes matters into his own hands. He spawns phoenixes and does pyros and flame strikes along with the CC in the first phase. Once you get him down to 50% health, he goes into the next phase, where he shoots you up in the air and you can fly for about 30 seconds. Pretty cool, all things considered. We downed KT, I took his Vile Remnant, and we made our way to the Caverns of Time to do Mount Hyjal. It was the first time I'd ever set foot in a current content raid, something I had tried to achieve for so long, but due to real-life scheduling constraints, I never got myself to a point where I was ready. I basically missed out on all of Classic beyond Blackwing Lair. I did my best to come in prepared. Everything I've done since coming back, other than the Fragrance venture, revolved around getting ready to do Mount Hyjal, and by extension Black Temple within a reasonable time frame. It was at this point that I was required to use consumes. This was the first time I'd really done something like this in Raid. I bought the Elixir of Healing Power and the Elixir of Dranic Wisdom, leaving me with a larger mana bar and more healing power to boot. Combined with some wizard oil and buff food, I was ready to go. We first jumped into the Alliance base to form a nice stack behind the wall. In Mount Hyjal, you have to fight 8 waves of undead before each of the first 4 bosses. If we stack behind the wall, we get them into an LOS. We do our thing, the DPS melts them down, and we continue on our merry way to Rage Winterchill, the boss where I loot the quest item for the Black Temple attunement. The fight took a minute, but it went relatively smoothly, only a few deaths, and even a compliment from the healers saying nice job. Feels good. After that, you must painstakingly fight your way through more waves of undead in this just absolutely mid-tier raid. We made it through to a Netheron, one of those big demon bosses with wings that does his debuff called Inferno, and if you get it, you need to run towards the mage tower. We engaged the boss, and you'll never believe this. I got the Inferno debuff, so I ran towards Jaina before the Infernal spawned. Okay, I did that fine, but then I got sleeped and it spawned right as I got out of the CC. I died right as Barcode asked me to innervate him. Very disappointing. It seemed my friends were dying in groups of 5. Wonderful. Another chance at life bestowed upon me by Cherish the Boomkin. I was resurrected and immediately instructed to battle Res Boppy. I did that, and then I tried to get some heals off on Zyos and died to an Infernal in the process. We wiped it up, we rezzed up, and after we were once again faced with the tedious task of fighting 8 more waves of these undead creatures in order to face Netheron again, and in the middle of that, me and my drink gave me the Mindstorm mana bands and the Trousers of the Astromancer from TK. They dropped earlier and presumably none of the caster DPS needed them. He also gave me the Mantle of Elven Kings, which dropped off the Tempest Keep trash. This is very generous, but it's good for balance, and I'm a mediocre tank healing tree.
Why are they giving me balance gear? I'm the fucking tree. I don't need balance gear. I'm the tree. I'm a healer. I'm never gonna use this. This is so strange that they're giving this to me.
We came back to Netheron, and it was a show of utter humiliation on my part. By the time he got to 70% health, I managed to let Life Bloom fall off Zyos and Wurzi. And they're both getting low. This is no good. Zyos informed me of my responsibilities, and I woke the fuck up and tried my best to execute them. I was annihilated in one shot. It wasn't too severe of a grief, as the rest of the raid continued to burn him down, but it was not a showing of my skills in restoration. After this, we made our way to the Horde encampment where we fought yet another 8 waves of undead creatures and necromancers. But this time there's gargoyles every other round. These gargoyles require part of the group to split off to the other side of the camp to grab them and bring them behind an LOS wall together so they can be AoE'd down. Then comes Khazregal, perhaps my least favorite boss in the tier. My favorite thing about this guy is his mana debuff that is quite lethal if the mechanic gets messed up. Throughout the fight, you need to keep your mana above 3000 or else you need to step away from the group or you will kill them and grief the fight, so especially if you're a healer you're going to want to take it slow. I almost got to that point, so I hopped out of tree form and let my mana regen while I tried to stay above 3k. Believe it or not, I died anyways. It wasn't too difficult of a fight that time, but it has been known to be very frustrating on several other occasions. We then went on to fight Asgalor. This boss isn't too bad in the right conditions. You just have to remember, he cleaves, and if you stand in front of him, prepare for a swift yet still painful cessation of your measly existence. You won't stand a chance, so move, stay to the side, please for the love of God just stay out of the way. He also does a silence that is quite irritating to spellcasters, as well as a rain of fire that drops down, and if you get caught in it, you get a dot that does 5000 damage. I got low to the dot, but we still killed Asgalor in decent time. We then made our way to the Well of Eternity, making for damn sure to grab our Tears of the Goddess from Tyrande Whisperwind at the little lodge along the way to fight Archimonde. After quite a few kills on this guy, I've come to realize that he's mostly RNG, but there's several mechanics that you need to watch out for. First off, he puts down a gnarly curse that needs to be decursed immediately. He also drops fire down on the ground that will kill you if you aren't healed quickly. We engaged the boss, and things started to move south as Archimonde was moving all over the place, spreading fire everywhere, and that wiped the raid. Not good. We tried again and everything went smoothly. The people with the debuff were healed, the fire stayed contained, and when the airburst happened I hit my tears in time and it let me slow fall to the ground and reduce fall damage. We killed him pretty quickly and I reveled in the fact that I just completed a current content raid with a hardcore guild. The guild headed back to Shatrath and called it good for the night. I went to the Aldor hub to exchange the tier 5 chest token off Kael'thas in exchange for a resto piece. I purchased it, equipped it, and then realized I bought the balance chest piece. I quickly gemmed it up with plus healing in hopes of remedying the situation. Although I had made the slight misstep, I had nearly doubled my healing power in about a week. It was thoroughly impressive the progress I had made. I still wasn't ready to come to Black Temple at the next reset, but I was significantly farther ahead of where I was mere days ago when Sweat took me in. A few days later, I found a shaman looking to make a 3s team. I told him I was down, and with a prop paladin wearing T2 shoulders, we made our way into the arenas. In a more noteworthy fight, we fought a strange comp, 2 hunters and an elemental shaman. We were at a stalemate for the first 40 seconds of the fight. It seemed both our teams were deliberating hard on what to do here. I could spend 10 minutes trying to figure out how to write down each and every move made during the event, then spend 30 trying to piece together the actions on the video to my words, but fuck that.
We have to like stay together too.
Yeah.
You can't get caught. We can go up and just pounce that fucking shaman in the middle right now, honestly, if you want. And then maybe drop when they pop BM. Bait it, bait the lust and bait BM. When they pop lust and BM, we need to fucking jump down here in line. As long as we're all like on the same page about that, like we should honestly be fine. We have to line it, or we lose. They might just jump. If we just stay down here, they also might just jump. We have totem set up, it's good. So we've got Wind Fury to delete that guy. We have a very small window. Holy shit, that shit hurts. I'm gonna heal myself.
Here, I got you. They're coming.
Oh no, they're doing bitch shit.
Oh, they're... Yo.
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Yo, this hunter's down.
One hunter.
Yo, this guy's low. Cat card is low.
Okay, we need to get on this chamois. Oh, hold on.
He's dead. I killed one. Good job.
Did he like
So-
slash AFK?
We had a few more wins, and then we had a few more losses, and the group disbanded for the night, so I headed off to play Battlegrounds with Wormtail. We got queued into an AV match, and as predicted, people instantly started spamming BG chat for Mage Table and Imp Buff, a common pleasantry in all instance activities in World of Warcraft. But, you'll never believe this, out of an entire 40-man raid group, there wasn't a single mage. Not one, not two, just 0. Luckily, I'm lying. Right before the gates opened, a single mage got queued into the instance, but regardless, we were not given the mage care package. Now, usually when I do Alterac, I just head straight south and try to kill the boss. At least that's what I spent the last decade or so doing. Wormtail, aka Milk Maggot the Warlock, aka Maggot Milk the Hunter, aka Bob the Rogue, aka Bobby the Priest, aka McBussy the Rogue, aka McBussy Prot the Paladin, aka B Mongoloid the Mage, has a different way of doing PvP. His method in Alterac Valley always pretty much entails going to Icewing Bunker and holding the choke point out there. It almost always gets overran by the Horde after a few minutes, but the plan is to put up enough of a resistance to slow the advance to the Alliance base at Dun Baldar. Now, when Wormtail is on his lock, he is quite the demon, no pun intended. In the first run I did with him, instead of hiding in the bunker, he had me hide in a little indent in the mountainside while he hid behind a tree and spammed dots at the Horde while they walked by. A rogue ran up on him eventually, and he was dealt with swiftly, but then a warrior ran up on me, and he targeted me specifically. I did make some effort to mitigate the effects, but it ended with my death. We then went to the Eye of the Storm, and my man Milk Maggot has quite the method in that battleground. In EOTS, each objective is at the top of a hill, and Milk figured that if he runs into the indents in the hillside, he can target and dot the players on top of the objective, and if he can dot them, then he can fear them too. I watched this guy troll a dude off the side of a cliff and gank him. Pretty genius all things considered. I don't even like doing Battlegrounds if Wormtail isn't there. Sometimes we're in Arathi Basin trolling dogshit morons on BG chat.
Choo choo, dude, that's it. The train going off the tracks, dude.
Sometimes it's choking the midpoint in EOTS, but either way, I'm willing to publicly speak to the idea that this is a top tier WoW player who seems to have all the aces up his sleeve. Chronologically the next day from when we killed Archimonde, I logged in to get my tier 5 helmet gemmed up. After that, I headed down through Theramore to Gadgetzan, where I ventured by Tiger to the Caverns of Time in order to get my rep ring with the Scale of the Sands. Once I acquired the Band of Eternity, I headed into a Gruul Mag starting at Mag Theridin, holed up in his lair on Hellfire Peninsula underneath the eponymous Citadel. For those who haven't done Mag before, he's being banished from the physical realm by the Hellfire Channelers, and you have to eliminate these channelers before you can engage with the boss. After the channelers are down, you have to fight Mag himself, and he can be quite the annoyance if not dealt with correctly. He does this one move that has you moving around and interrupting spellcasts, and a blast nova that does a lot of damage if you don't click the cube to interrupt it. We missed one cube on the first nova, but it didn't seem to cause too many problems. But on the second nova, someone complained that someone else took their cube, and we immediately fucking wiped. We then wiped 2 more times, and I said fuck this shit and headed to a Karazhan at about 1 in the morning in an attempt to get some more loot. I recall leaving that group as by curator I was tired as shit. Nothing of significance really happened in that run. The next day, I woke up and took another go at a Gruul Mag GDKP since I had a few hours to kill before Hyjal with my guild. We cleared both raids with no issue, and I took my 255 gold cut and went to go get my Shard of the Virtuous enchanted with extra healing power. Flash forward 2 hours, and it's time for the battle for Mount Hyjal. Every classic raider's favorite instance. Such a wide variety of undead to kill, and boss fights geared to satisfy the average raider's patience.
Were we gonna have this dude, Dream State?
Yes.
Yeah, we don't have
Fucking
a very
homeboy, fucking Axe. Axe, you go respect Dream State.
Do you know the build?
I'll send it to him real quick.
Yeah, send it to him real quick. Basically, bro, you're gonna be healing and throwing your debuff up. That's it.
My guildmaster asked if I should go Dream State, and everyone else said yes, because we didn't have a boomkin. I teleported to the Moonglade and unlearned my talents and relearned the new ones to match the Dream State spec. If you noticed, I followed the Wowhead guide on Dream State and not the 70 upgrades one. So after we killed the second boss and this was noticed, I had to respec again. Ugh. Like I said, the respec was due to a lack of boomkin. They needed me to sacrifice lots of good talent points and my tree form just to put them down the balance tree so I can pick up improved fairy fire, giving the raid an extra 3% chance to hit on the target. It's absolutely fucked. The mana management is terrible, you lose so much healing power that you're damn near useless in terms of actual healing. Fuck Dream State. Fuck Dream State. I'm grabbing the mic. Fuck Dream State. Fuck Dream State. Fuck Dream State. It cannot be overstated. I came back and had a rendezvous with my guild over at the Horde encampment where I fought more waves of gargoyles, but this time I died to them.
Yeah, I might have killed him. I just soul shattered. Yeah. Damn it, Mom.
Drank gave me the Hate Fury mantle for my Boomy set, and then we fought Khaz'Ragal again. I got the blue suede shoes, which were also from my Boomy set. We blazed through Asgalore quickly, and right before Archimond, I was given Don Rodrigo's poncho for my main spec, and my previous mistake of buying the balanced T4 chest was completely invalidated, leaving me with another good off-spec piece. After killing Bitch Command, I ventured to Tempest Keep where everything was going fine until we had a few too many disconnects, and the raid leader called it a night. I'm ready. I've racked up enough healing power to enter Black Temple. I've met the guidelines that Selborne set for me. I've read up on all the fights, gotten all the essential pieces that I needed to get, farmed all the reps, and done all prerequisite quests. This is it. This is the apex of my initial goal upon re-entry into Azeroth, and by extension, Outland. I have finally set myself a foundation. I am now an active current content raider and one of the best guilds on this server. It is here that I make a name for myself. It is here that I make my fucking ascendance. It is no longer a question. I've done the legwork. It's time to get to some fucking arm work. And no, I'm not talking about going back to the gym, Tyler. Stop bothering me on WoW time. In due time, I will explain to you my experience in Black Temple. But to be honest, I haven't even wrote the script for it yet. And my mental instability keeps me from writing consistently. So please be patient and tune in next week on the Road to Tier 6 by Axis Chronicles.